So
yeah. Oh, and download the latest version if you can do that.
I did. Oh yeah, make sure you get it. Hello, everybody. Hello, hello. I hope you're all doing well. Of course, it wouldn't be a live stream if it wasn't live with technical difficulties. And apparently, I have installed some audio unit plugin that's being kind of a gremlin to my system. So get ready for an interesting live stream, shall we say. Yes, I have all these plans, grand plans, and there's someone waiting to join us in this live stream and everything. And of course, everything kind of goes aside. Hey, is audio good? You guys hear audio? Yes? Yeah, I have to keep clicking. There's some plugin. Let me see if I have, you know what it is? Maybe it's this. Let me kill that. Let's see if that makes it better. Because everybody else, that's the only thing I was using that was kind of like cover. Yeah, let's do this. Just get rid of that. Okay, so maybe this is better. Anyway, welcome. My name is John Lemcool. This is a Plugin Guru live stream. We support Unify and all the libraries that I've built and all that kind of fun stuff. And I decided, you know, I do things kind of on the seat of my pants sometimes. I decided at the last minute that we need to do a library, our own collective library. I was thinking about Spitfire Audio Labs and all that kind of stuff. And we've done things like this kind of in the past, but not to this level. I'm inviting all of you guys to make samples. I'm going to give you a step-by-step at the second half of this live stream. I will actually, let's see. I think I'm going to record this into my iPhone. And then we're going to get into Unify. And I'll show you the steps to do it and the software to do it. It's pretty easy. If you haven't gotten it already, there's a library waiting for you for free at the Plugin Guru website for Unify called the Plugin Guru GuruNation Collective V1. And what this is I recorded this really incredible high-tech piece of gear, this Fisher-Price. I recorded this both with a One, two. There we go. Sorry, the audio is going to be weird today. I don't know what is going on, but there's some gremlin in the system. But anyway, there it is. Recorded at 96 kilohertz with 3 round robin samples. Here's the soft mallet. And then I did one. Yeah, I've got this glitchy audio unit that's crapping out on me. It's so weird. Let me see here. Recover. I'm trying to figure out what system that is causing this problem. I want to recover. Oh, you know what it is? It's probably this. Let's see if that works. I'm going to hide show MIDI and see if that makes the error message go away. That's the only thing I can think it would be at this point, because anyway, this is that toy xylophone. In a different application. So, second half of this live stream, I'm going to show you guys how to sample a sound, use the different applications to get it into Unify and have it so it can play, make patches. The concept is this: for the next month, this is open for everybody to create samples, make a patch for those samples, send it to us. All the details, if you open up one of these and you go to the save page, all of the instructions and details are right here in the comment section. Email for where to send the samples, all that kind of stuff. It's a we're doing a Unify version of like a piano book / labs. We can do that kind of stuff. It's great that they do that and provide it, but it's not a copywritten thing that nobody else can do as well. So we've done things like this in the past where I've invited you guys to make patches for like the violin library for Omnisphere like 5 years ago, remember? I mean, we've been doing this since 2009. So I've been around since before Spitfire Audio even was an idea. So we've got our ability to do stuff like this. So it's a chance for you guys to contribute. I'm going to make some noise, get other people involved for Unify to make samples. And then let's so the first month between now and March 25th, making samples. Second half between April 1st to May 1st, making patches. So it's one thing for me to make videos showing how to do this. It's another thing for you guys to actually do it yourself. So Unify Collection. Thanks, Ivar. I don't think I'm going to name it that. Okay, so to start with, there is a free arpeggiator MIDI effect available from our friends from Modalic. And I don't know if you guys are familiar with Eyal. I showed his Beat Scholar plugin in a live stream a while back, which has gotten a lot of people really excited. It could do really cool. If you're trying to do multi-meter drum patterns and stuff like that and do things in a unique way, pizza slices is the way to go, isn't it? Anyway, let me move over the screen here and let's all say hello to Eyal. Hello, Eyal.
Hello.
How are you, man?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Well, it's been a kind of a bumpy start, but I think I figured it out. I was using a plugin that hasn't been Apple siliconed yet. And so Logic was not liking that. And since I got rid of that situation, the waters are a lot more stable. So that's good.
Amazing.
Yeah. Anyway, you have created something, and not only created it, but made it available right now for free. Oh, my audio did go away, so there's something still heinous going on. But that's really nice of you to do that. Thank you. So let's give a little background. Tell us about you, where you're at. You just moved.
Yeah. I just moved. I'm originally from Israel, which is also where Or Lubianiker, who's my partner in Modalic, he also lives there. And
Yes.
I just moved here to California. So I'm enjoying the theoretical sun, but now there's no sun. There's a storm out. And
yeah, you come here just in time for them to have a blizzard warning in Los Angeles, which is something
Yes.
I have never seen before in my life. So you don't have blizzards in Israel, do you?
Maybe in Jerusalem or something, you'd have it like once every 5 years.
Right.
Maybe. I don't know.
Wow. Well, now your partner, is he still in Israel?
Yes, he's still there.
Okay.
And so we like work remotely.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, as we know, you don't have to be in the same cities anymore for doing work at all. I mean, it's one of those things where it's pretty amazing how communication with a video screen and it works quite nicely. So
Yeah.
and you have things set up to show us a little demo.
Yeah. Hopefully, it's there's a saying, you should never do a live demo.
Right.
Should always use like pre-recorded video so that nothing fails.
Yeah. Well, tell
But
us about this and tell us about Beat Scholar. These are your two first plugins you've released as a company, right?
Yeah. My partner and I have both worked at other plugin companies before. Like we've worked for companies like Waves and Xfer,
Yes.
Pitch Innovations, like other kinds of plugin companies. But this is like the first two things we've done that are ours, that are not like in collaboration with some bigger company or whatever.
Right. It's your babies, your concept, your design. You're in charge.
I'm in charge. I take the blame.
Well, it's a good feeling, isn't it, to be able to do your thing and extend your vision of what you want to do, right?
Yeah, and you know that because I was talking to you when I was going through that process, and you were a big part of my inspiration to do that because of what you've done with Unify and how you've done this kind of path yourself.
Yes.
So that was huge.
You're
for
doing
us.
great, man. That's so awesome how things are going. So, well, hey, I'm sure everybody can't wait. Now, for those of you in the live stream, there is a link in the video description already set up to go to Modalic. And there is a promo code that you put in, and this MIDI effect is able to be downloaded then for free instead of for $29.
Mm-hmm.
It's limited time. So if you're watching this after the live stream, if you're watching this in summers, it's a limited time, right?
Yes.
It's not free forever.
It's not free forever. I'm not sure exactly what the date that we're gonna kind of turn off the light on the free, but once you get the free license, then it's yours.
Good.
Right.
Yeah. And have you had a few people jump on it?
Oh yeah, like our servers are going crazy. Like we've had so many people download, and it's actually quite amazing because we've never expected people from such a range of like backgrounds and people and places in the world and whatever to get it. It's great.
Well, hey, you show your demo, and then I worked on it a little bit so I can show a little demo in Unify too, because this works really, really well in Unify. It's tight, baby. It's really tight. Yes. And what's great with this is the timing of it is you can, as you'll see in this interface, if you want to do an ARP pattern in like 16.5, it's pretty easy to set up and do all sorts of interesting timing things and so forth. So, well, take it away. Do your thing, my friend.
All right. So let me go and share my screen.
Yeah.
Sorry that I'm showing in Ableton Live and not in Unify.
No,
just because,
it's fine.
just because I had that set up already placed.
Yeah. Well, I can show in Unify too, so we'll get the best of everything. So
perfect. So you load up Eon ARP, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm just going to turn this thing off because I was going to show that in a second.
Okay.
And you load Eon ARP, and it's got its own little sounds. I'm just going to play a few chords.
Sure.
Right. So. Right, and so that you'll get a context of what it's doing, I'm just gonna hit play. I have a background track here with Beat Scholar just playing quarter notes.
Hey, show
and
Beat
I'm just
Scholar
gonna switch
Show
patterns.
Beat Scholar. Show them the pizza slices. I love the pizza slices.
Right, here are the pizza slices, right? But this is just like the boring thing because it's just like quarter notes. I just did it so that it's the most boring beat I could find, so that Beat Scholar will make sense.
Right.
I'll back to this in just a second. So let me switch to the patterns here. Play a bit lower.
Hey, do you want to grab at the bottom corner, make it a little bit bigger for everybody?
Absolutely. Let's make it bigger.
There you go. Isn't that beautiful?
Okay.
There you go. Now, for example, right there, go back to that one real quick. See where it says steps in the top and it says 7 divided by 2/4. So he's getting into some really interesting patterns that you can now you can automate switching between these cells in your sequencer to have it do.
Yeah. So the thing is, it's quite an interesting like a combination of like a step sequencer and an arpeggiator.
Yeah.
And the idea is you can really freely draw a pattern. Like you can, so I can say, okay, well, I'm just gonna grab my draw tool and just draw a few steps, right? And just draw some shape.
Right.
But you can draw really freely. So you can say something like, you can draw with the grid. So you can say something like, give me 30 steps, right? And then just, draw some crazy thing with 30 steps. Polyphonic 30 steps, by the way. So you can see that chord comes in at the end to random positions, right?
Yeah.
But you can also draw completely out of the grid. So you can pick like the select brush and just move the notes to exactly where they're supposed to be. So let's pick like a simple pattern. Let's do something like, let's do like 4 steps and make them be, make the whole pattern be just 1/4.
Okay.
Clear this and I'll draw, a few steps, right? It'll just be 16 notes. But I can just decide, okay, well, maybe I want, to have 2 of these notes, just multi-select them and then have them, a bit shorter and start a bit later, right? To get some weird swings, like custom swings.
Right.
And of course, this is polyphonic. So you can say, okay, well, I love this. Maybe give me, another one here, right? I'll duplicate both of these. And it gets interesting when you start to deal with the complex rhythms, because the way Eon ARP does it is you have either what we call divide mode. And divide mode means that you say the pattern is 1/4, the pattern is 4/4, the pattern is 12/4, whatever you want. Like just type down some length, and then the number of steps is dividing by that. So that means that if you have 4 steps divided by 4, each step is a quarter note. But if you have 5 steps, right?
Right. That's the fun part.
Yeah, that's the fun part. And let's quantize this. So then now you have 5 steps over 4/4. Let's hear what that sounds like. That's going to be fun. So. So you can get really crazy rhythmic ideas with this. Yes. And the other mode we have is multiply mode. And multiply mode means that you pick the length of each step. So you can say something like each step is 1/16. But you have 5, right? So that means you actually have a pattern of 5/16 notes. So it's a polymeter pattern. So.
That's awesome.
Right, so that it's gonna switch, and you can really be free. Like some of our presets like are super long. Like you can really even write stuff like really complex evolving shapes. Right, and then you can key switch them. So I'm just using my keys to key switch different patterns.
Okay.
And you can see that each pattern is actually independent in the length too. Like here I'll have some patterns that are longer and shorter.
Right. Each one of those patterns can have completely different step division or multiply. The pattern parameters itself can be different for each one.
Completely different, yes. And then once you've done that, you can use, now I've just used the built-in synth, which is a very simple synth that we have just for, auditioning patterns. But then when you want to get real, you can go and just have Eon control. Five from Arturia. Yeah. And switch some presets. Let's try this.
And
and you can just control whatever instruments
it would sound
you have.
Like a whole orchestra too. I should point out, like that type of a pattern. I just hear a string orchestra playing that fast strings would be wonderful. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. And I think now you're probably going to be the expert in this, because once you start to take this and you switch it to something like Unify, you can create really nice patches.
Right.
That do quite a lot with few notes. That's something that Unify generally is very good at.
Yes. Yeah, and as you can see, not only there's also swing in the parameter set, so that you do have swing, so you don't actually have to you did a swing kind of thing by changing the timing of those events, but you can actually just do it with a knob at the top to change as well, which is really nice and handy. No, it's really well thought out, man, and I love. At the bottom left, guys, there's the ability to load MIDI files. So you can load up. I loaded up some Unify standard MIDI files and was playing them last night, and it loads them just fine. It's great, really fun.
Yeah.
Congrats. So that's a lot to put into somebody's hat for a simple, quote, simple ARP, Oh, it's just an ARP, but it can do so much. It's got so much capabilities to it. Congratulations on coming up with that. So so if you guys want to add something, now we're gonna switch over in a minute. I'll show in Unify because one thing with Unify is that MIDI effects don't get their own classification. So in order for them to show up inside of Unify's MIDI effects section, there's some stuff you can do to make that happen. So I'll show people how to do that. But such a cool plugin. Let me see if anybody's got questions. Guys, any questions for Eyal? Okay. Yeah. The microphone has gone weird from time to time. My sound input is strange with echo. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to apologize because the audio today is probably going to be a little weird. Like I said, there's some plugin that's playing Gremlin in my system for some reason. So let me reapply the audio and see if this restarts and fixes it. Okay. Is that better? We'll see if that's better. I think that's everything, but everybody's excited with the product. Lots of people grabbed it. I'll continue from here and show it in Unify because it can show up. What's cool with Unify is it can show up both as an instrument or it can show up as a MIDI effect to control instruments. So
yes,
it identifies itself both ways, and Unify sees it both ways. Thanks for the Eon hookup.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, people are very happy that you're offering this for free. That's a very kind gesture to get a nice database of people to communicate with in the future. It's a great way to do it. So can't wait to see what you guys do. Do you have any clues for what you're doing next?
Well, I can't drop any clues yet, but we have a few nice things that are going to come out in the next couple of months.
Oh, great.
Yeah. So the one thing that's not super secret now, it's going to be, we're probably going to do Beat Scholar for iOS. A lot of people have asked for that.
Oh, okay.
But we have new stuff that are really cool. Some of which will go in as features for people who already have Beat Scholar, so they'll get some of these new features. But there's something really cool we've done that I don't know. Hopefully by April or May or something, we'll be able to reveal that and show that to everybody.
Just in time for the NAMM show.
Just in time for the NAMM show.
Everybody rushes for April 15th. It's tax day in the United States, and it's the NAMM shows that weekend for this year. So, yeah, I'll be in LA.
My two favorite things. It's music and taxes.
Oh, boy. Yeah, let's not even start that. Oh! Start crying on the live stream. Well, thank you. I'll see you in LA for sure because I'll be there for the show. So we'll have to hang a little bit, and I can't wait to see what you're working on. So everybody keep your guys open. Modalic is on the rise, baby. Well, thank you for joining us, Eyal. It was really great to see you, and everybody enjoys very much the directions you're going, and we are all behind you cheering. So keep going.
Thank you, man. It's a big part of this is thanks to you and your support and the amazing things that you've been doing. So it's phenomenal.
If I could be any inspiration, then I appreciate that. Thank you. But you did it all, man. You wrote the code, you got it working, and it's not crashing. So it's not crashing. That's the good part. All right. Well, thank you. We'll talk to you again. Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Thanks again, my friend. Okay, so that is Eon ARP. And let me see, I'm going to quit that. Let me show you this in Unify really quick. It's really cool. first of all, you will need to go to your plugin page. You can either scan and have it scan all your plugins, or go select the plugin files to scan and go to VST. And let's see, you probably shouldn't see everything in this list, but that's okay. Just select it from the list and it will scan. Now by doing that, it will show up now when you go to all instruments, Modalic's Eon ARP. There it is. So now you can call it up and okay. Let's see. Let me quit Unify. There might have been something weird going on. I have a gremlin in my system. I'm going to have to figure out what's going on. Oh, please work. Unify, what happened? Where'd you go? Okay, let's try it this way. Instruments, Unify. All right, we'll set this like 115 beats per minute. So if we want, we can go, let's get the keyboard so you can see the keyboard here. If you go to the list and select from Modalic, this will be where it is using its internal. What happened there? That was not expected. Modalic. Oh. Okay. Interesting. This was working last night, so I think there's a gremlin in my system. I will have to do a little recover audio. Okay, well, I guess we're gonna not be able to show this. I don't know what happened. I was working with this just last night and it worked fine. So it's really weird that it's in it. Let's see what's going on with our settings to see if it's something we can do here. Output. Okay, let's try one more time. Modalic's Eon ARP. All right, there. now it's working, and Logic is still messing up the audio. Again, I'm sorry if the audio is off today. Anyway, here's Eon working inside of Unify as an instrument. Making sure the interface is good. And you can go down here through the sounds. And it works just fine. Right? Now, if we wanted to do our usual test is to go over and get some sort of like AL was doing, have a kick drum. So we can go over here to the kicks, right click and say load with no pitch shift. That way it doesn't do the shifting of the drum pitch. So we see, since this is 7 steps over 2x4 pattern, as you change this, you'll hear, say 4. Go to the pencil tool. Now the other way to use this, instead of using this sound engine, we got to hear Nightmares really quick. Just The other way to use this is as a MIDI effect. But when you go to the MIDI effect list, it doesn't show up because MIDI effects don't get love inside of the MIDI spec. So you need to go down here to the plugin subsets, go over here to the left corner and change MIDI effects. And I think there's a preset shipped with you guys of some third-party plugins or something. Click one of the presets and then go down the list, or up here you can type Eon, A-E-O-N, and select it and then say add selected right here. That will add it to the list, and then click save. And that's how you can get MIDI effects to show up in your pull down list for MIDI effects. So now you go to third-party plugins, and there it is. Now, when it's in the MIDI effects slot, it has disabled the synth. So even though the synth says it's on, oh, well, here, actually, we got to do this. Let's set this to be Guru Sampler. So now it's going to be controlling. It was playing Eon ARP. So Eon ARP was playing Eon ARP, right? Isn't that funny? So over here. And like I was saying, this would be really fun to put onto strings, for example. So if we go to Chorus Station, let's see if my system will like this. Let's go to the strings, the ensemble staccato. And let's load this into a new Unify layer. And that's going to mess up audio. One second. Okay. I literally woke up this morning and turned on the computer to it acting like something's wrong. So it wasn't doing this last night. You know? So we have this weird gremlin going on. It's the audio driver is disappearing on me. Like all of a sudden Logic goes, hey, there's no audio driver found. The audio driver disappears here. All right, but I'm going to fight through this. I do not give up. I'm going to be a bulldog and just say, okay, well, we'll just fix it. Because it's just reselecting software. It seems to work once I reselect everything. So I apologize for the acrobatic acts I'm having to do live. But, I think there's some generic patterns inside of it. The mic sounded normal for a sec. Oh. Well, that's promising. Again, there's something in my system acting up. So I appreciate you guys hanging out while this is going on. But let's see if we can get this to go. So if I go over here so here are the strings in this third. So if I go over here and I said MIDI effects, Eon ARP. Now we have this really cool ability in Unify. You hold down Control and Shift and click the little bullet. That copies the plugin settings. And then hold down just Shift, and not Control and Shift, but just Shift and click. And I've pasted it. So now Eon ARP is playing the strings. It's pretty cool. And because this is a Unify layer, yeah, of course my audio is gonna go like this is like there's somebody up above invisibly pushing buttons to break everything. So we're just going to keep going through it. Yeah, I think it has to do with application memory. I've got this this thing popping up saying that my application, look at this. I've not seen this before. I woke up to this. Your system has run out of application memory. So there's something happening with the system that's not all the memory that's needed, and it doesn't help. Anyway, when I load these patches, it works, but anytime I choose one of these, it freaks out the memory system. There's some sort of I don't know. This is a new thing that just happened while I was sleeping. So, but as you can see, you can use Eon ARP both as a MIDI effect as well as an instrument by itself if you want. But now, if I turn off mute here, I have both the synth part and the strings. They work together, so it's great. It's a really, really cool ARP. It's some way, it reminds me of like a programmable MIDI box in that you can make something here and then it just plays it polyphonically with what you want to do. So, like I said, if you go down here to right here to File, you can now click the little folder icon and recover my audio, please. Yeah, there's such a weird thing going on. Boy, it does not like this. Welcome to Apple beta test land. But if we go over here to Unify to MIDI files, MIDI bank files. Oh wait, go to libraries. Unify standard library to the MIDI files here inside of that. And go to something like the bonus ones that I included from the orchestra from BBC. You could say like the 8th note staccato string pattern and I think that's just for the top one. So if I mute the strings to start, we can hear. And then copy that. So we go copy and then paste and then what we want to do inside of Eon ARP, it doesn't show you the MIDI files. That's one thing I was going to talk to AL about, is when you load MIDI files, it's not interpreting it. It just shows you the standard Eon. But I think that's something that can be fixed and looked at to see if there's something more information-wise they can show. But it can play the MIDI file. Okay. Thank you. Okay. So anyway, well, Blue ARP, Blue ARP and Eon are in the same class. And typically, you don't run 2 ARPs at the same time, but I could have one part playing Blue ARP and one part playing Eon, and it would be fine. If I wanted to go up here and set this to Blue ARP, and let's go over here to the type and say chords, but some of the notes being random. Works just fine, not a problem. Let me turn this up a little bit so you can hear it. And then I can go to Eon. Let's choose one of these patterns here. It's a go past the welcome screen to the Get Creative. Great riffs. Oh, let's say back to here. Works just fine. But it's not. When you load up Eon, you could put an ARP after it. I've done that before. We've made patterns and so forth where we have Blue ARP playing something and then it triggers MIDI box. You can do that, but typically that's not what you do to get the arpeggio patterns. It's one layer, one instrument is using Eon ARP. One layer, one instrument is using Blue ARP. You know, works fine. Not a problem. Have you gotten any sneaky updates to your DAW that you might be unaware of? Well, there was a notice for an update, but this was happening on a system level before I even ran Logic. This force quit application message popped up when I was just running a few other applications before I even started using Logic. So there's definitely something going on. I'm not sure with that kind of stuff. Yeah, there's great potential. So let's see. I'm going to try to record something for you guys to show you how to get something. We're going to shift gears now, shifting gears. Let's talk about samples and getting samples into Unify for the collective. Let's see here. I should actually rebuild the database really quick. See if we can do that without a problem. And yeah, I was waiting for that to happen. Yeah, so loading samples. Wow, everything is just completely zapping the computer. I'm sorry, I really apologize. I was not counting on this happening. This new Apple Studio computer it's supposed to be so powerful and everything, and it's there's something not right. So I sampled this a couple days ago, and I set this all up. So when you download, let's see here. Let me show you what you're going to be downloading. Hide everything for a second. Here is the Guru Collective that you will download and unzip, and it will look like this. There's a README, which has detailed instructions about the phase 1 and making samples and kind of some guidelines. We have forums I want to point you to. Forums.pluginguru.com. Let me log in really quick. I'm not a robot. And at our forum, okay, this is getting really old. Okay, hopefully we have audio. At our forums down here, so frustrating. Getting your samples into Guru Sampler is a topic, and there is a plugin GuruNation Collective questions and answers you can click, which has information about things that we'll be doing in the library, step-by-step process. This is a link to the live stream right now that's going on. But I want to point you to the tools at Bjorn Barr. He has created the tools that are going to help us get samples into Unify by this program right here called Sample Mapper. This allows you to create samples, map them to the notes, and then save an SFC file that Unify can read. Because Unify uses a simplified kind of a SFC file format. So all that information is on our forums at forums.pluginguru.com. So please register if you haven't, and if you have questions. I would suggest going there before you email us. Taylor has helped me build libraries, so he knows the process, and we can help via email, but it'd be nice if you do it there in the forums first, because that way, if it's a problem that others are going to experience, they'll go here and read about this challenge that you're having and the solution that we suggest, and then everybody else can learn from that solution as well. Fine print, please don't upload samples that you either know that you have the rights to use, they're licensed royalty free, or that you've created so you know that they're royalty free because you created them. I don't want to get this to be a legal problem or so forth. But anyway, right here is the Unify file, the .guru file that you can drag over Unify. It is not a licensed library. There is no license to it. You just drag over and it will put everything into place for the library. So if we go over here to Unify Libraries, right here, the collective, the samples are here. And as you can see, I'm going to step you through this process. So when you make samples, before you make an SFC file map, you need to put the samples into this folder, into this location. So as you can see, there's a samples, Plug-in Guru Collective, and then inside of there are where the SFCs, and there's a folder called samples. And so you want to go in here, say that your name's Bill Martin samples. And then you'll open up your folder with your name and you'll put your samples into this folder, okay? To keep it simple. And then at that point, you're able to make, here, let's do this. We're going to call this live stream samples because we'll do this in the live stream. But this is not how it's going to show up in the final. I'm going to delete live streams. And if I have my own samples, I will put them into this folder with all these samples that I have done already in here. These samples, I did 3 round robins for them. So when you play, it's not playing the same sample. I also sampled at 96 kilohertz. When you're doing higher frequency content, that's when it's really important to get the, because if you play it, that higher sampling rate is really nice. Really nice, really nice. So let's do this. So I'm going to keep going. So on top of the samples, there's a place that the patches will go when you write patches. At this point, you don't need to go crazy writing patches. It's mainly writing a patch that has your content. And then you'll send us your library folder and we'll incorporate all of that into the master built file, right? But I also have in here, if you can see, I wanted to do this one just so we'd have... right? Something cool. But it also allows us to have, I wanted to make MIDI files. So you'll have a folder if you want to make MIDI files in the future. Make a folder in the MIDI files folder called Your Name MIDI Files. In media, you can put files into place if you want. There's a library file that is placed in the patches folder. That is the file right here. That's 96 pixels. Showing a 96 pixel image freaks out a system audio. Oh, God. But also on top of that, I also have some examples where this patch I took a picture of what I sampled. And it is here in the library for you to see when you click the artwork. That's all set up right here by putting your image files into the images folder and then modifying the text. And what you do there is the name of the patch is tied to the name of the picture file that you have, .jpeg or .png work. So as you can see, each one of these hard and soft are using different files. So if I go to this one, this is a different example where I had it replace the library. See how these have the standard library artwork? For this one, I wanted it to show the artwork. I wanted to just kind of show you everything Unify can do. So in this one, it's showing the artwork as the 96 by 96 icon. And so that is done as well in links. I should probably put this into the images folder, but it doesn't have to. It can be in the media folder for the little 96 by 96 images. They can just be media. But if you're going to link images that are going to be taking up the whole screen, which is really, really fun to do, they need to go into a folder called media. So I just wanted to lay out the whole library with MIDI files, graphics, all that kind of stuff to give you an idea of all the stuff possible. I'm going to be making a follow-up video with this information in it as well. And then there's a graphic assets, which is a Photoshop document of the image resolution that I want to see everybody else use if you don't mind. And it has the layout with the text at the bottom and the library graphics in the top right. Use that if you would like. If you want to add your image artwork to what you've sampled, you want to have a picture of it, you don't have to. You don't have to do any of that. It's just optional. But that's all the capabilities that we have inside of Unify. I kind of wanted to highlight all of those and give you all the tools so that you could use those for your samples if you want to use them. But let's look at, let me see the chat to see if there's any questions cropping up from what we're talking about. Let me get this stuff all over here. Please show your keyboard. I cannot help someone if you do not show your keyboard all the time. I can't show my keyboard today. I'm sorry. It's causing technical problems with my computer. Something went wrong overnight with this computer, and if I try, let's try it. We'll see if it gives me this. Oh, it's running. So. Okay, we'll see if that works, and if it gives me error glitches, we'll stop it. But right now it seems to be working, so there you go. Okay, so I want to sample. Let's do this. I'm going to sample. I was thinking of I could use a microphone. I could use this microphone. Maybe we'll just do that to make it easy. So I'm going to go into Logic, and I'm going to record here. You could record to your phone or whatever and transfer over, but it's better to use better microphones than a DAW and so forth, right? So I'm going to just check my levels and we'll record. So let's see what happens. Record. All right, this is a little green flute from San Miguel de Allende when I was there last 2 years ago, I guess. Now I'm going to do some short ones. So we'll do some short little. Let's do a couple of cool little accents. All right, high quality recordings are all we're into here, of course. Now I'm going to use some software inside of Logic. There's Option X, pops up a strip silence tool that I use. It gives the chance to give a pre-attack, which is really nice. To chop this all up into separate pieces. Let's have a little post-release so that it lets it go just a little bit longer, just to make sure I got everything that I want in each of these. And chop it up. And I'm going to just, let's see what. So that was D, like D4. So we're going to open this to this point, and at this point, we'll say text tool. I should go through this and make it, some of these are not needed. Yeah, I'm going to be fighting this audio thing all day long. So if we play this back, just so you can hear it. I have all these. Now I'm going to do some short ones. So we'll do some short little. So as you can see, I kind of have groups. I have some long, I think this is me talking here. All right, this is a little, so we don't need that. So let's go like this. We'll select these 4. And I'm going to name these, this is wind, green flute, long, D4, 1. Boom. So it names those 4 samples. And because of the way that Logic works, I think other DAWs work like this. It automatically increases the numbering by each one of those by 1. Then we have shorts. So I'm going to take this and copy this name. And I'm going to paste this name and say these are short. And we want to be starting with number 1 again. And then I'm going to go over here and let's see, are these all? Yeah, okay. Over here, paste the name, and this is accents. So 1 for the first one, and it will name them. So it's named them all. Now, if I was doing different pitches, it gets more complicated, but I'm just doing just this one thing. So I'm going to go over here and make a folder called Green Flute on my computer. And inside of Logic, I'm going to select all of these, and I'm going to go to File, Export. Export 27 regions as audio files. And that will give me the chance to go to desktop. Go to desktop. Export. Yeah. So it has rendered all of those out into this folder as samples. And it's numbered them so that I have access to play them back now and right? So now I could do a couple things. In order for it to be mapped inside of the Guru sampler and so forth, the sample mapper likes to see the pitch at the very end of the names. So I kind of need to reverse the names of these. So I would have to probably manually go through each one of these, add a number right here. I could use renaming software for this part. Let's just do the long ones, just to be simple. So a long one. And then I'm going to get rid of 2 characters at the end so that D4 is what it shows. And let's say 2. D4 with a space right there. 3. Let's just do the long one for now. 3. And this way it will map them all onto D4 for me automatically. And 4. Okay, so now I would probably suggest taking these into a sample editor at this point. I'm trying my best. If possible, it's good to do this where you don't need to normalize. Oh, let's see something real quick. I'm curious. Project settings, audio. Yeah, these are 48 kilohertz samples. Oh, I know what it is. Ocean Audio's preferences are messed up. My sounds I did at 96 kilohertz, so I think this is still thinking it's at 96 kilohertz. 48 kilohertz. Anyway, this is not going to be perfect samples. I've cut off the attacks, or I think. No, that's better. Let's get rid of this part. We don't need that. Save. You can zoom in on the attacks. Make sure that you've got this is a free audio editor program for the Mac, by the way, called Ocean Audio. I like it because it can show you the spectrum as well as the sample at the same time. So you can see what's going on a couple different types of a scale spectrum to see what's going on. But it's good to get rid of the space at the beginning of the samples so that it plays better. And Command/ is a quick key to zoom in. I'm not normalizing these. It's ideal if you don't normalize. That tends to add a little bit of harshness to the samples. So it's best not to do that. And let's go over here and we'll go to, let's call up another application and see how my computer freaks out. Yeah. It's like, oh no, more memory. Ah! Let's see if there's stuff we can get rid of. We can get rid of our text editor, which is taking up so much memory. Get rid of that. Anyway, at this point, I'm going to drag these samples over one at a time. And when I drag it over, you see that it shows up in what's called this like sample import window. In order for it to read the sample name, you need to click right here where it says root key from name. And by doing that, that will tell it where to auto map the samples. It won't do it otherwise. Otherwise, it's going to like load them from a set key. But by doing this, it's loaded it to D4. It's set it so it's there. Now, I'm going to load another sample. So let's go over here to sample 2. And I'm going to say load from key. So it found it. And I'm going to click right here where it says import to new group. This is how you can do round robins. By importing into a new group, each one of these will be put to a separate group. So you just say root key and import to a new group, 2, 3, 4. And say root key and import. So I have now 4 samples that are the same samples mapped to D4. Go to the preferences if you're running this for the first time and make sure you turn on the SFC export to Plug-in Guru Unify format. That is what sets it up so that when I go over here and I go save SFC instrument as. Now, this is a test. I want to point this out because the samples, I haven't moved them to the right place yet. So it's going to keep track of them and it's going to work. But if I try to send this to me for the library, it won't work. But let's say green flute long, wind, green flute long. So now when I go to Unify, after it's saved, right? I think it's saved. Yep. Okay, so we can say new. Let's say yes. I'm going to make another one where I'm going to take all the little accents. Let's put those all on the keyboard. The other way to load samples is like as a drum menu. So if you select and go like this, go to note key and say start at, say, 36 is fine. 1 semitone. So that way it will do chromatically import. And then I can call this save as wind, green, flute, accents. Okay? So, I don't know why it takes it so long to do this, but again, everything on my computer is working like it normally doesn't, so. Anyway, so I can say new just so that this is fresh and say like that. Now, if I open up Guru Sampler after it's done thinking. How's your day today? By the way, we've gotten, this is crazy weather here in Portland. We've gotten like, at the airport, they got 10 and a half inches of snow. Second most amount of accumulated snow in history of keeping records here in Portland at the end of February, on the 22nd of February, something like that. So the whole city has been shut down. Unify is paused. Okay, well, let's do this. Let's quit Unify really quick. Normally this type of stuff I'm dealing with, you won't be dealing with. I don't know why it's like this, but you know. Guru Collective. So I think it messed up the audio driver again. Change. Yeah. So go Scarlet. So if we go to Guru Sampler and we go to the list, you'll see that there's Green Flute Long. Got a flute. Have to tune it and stuff like that, you know, of course. And fix the attack clicks because I didn't do that. If we go to the accents, turn off the reverb. So, I'm located in Portland, Oregon, in the Northwest in the United States, and it's if you saw what it looks like outside, it's incredible. Let's see here. I could maybe show you like this. Let's go like this. Yeah, we'll shoot this over. So airdrop. Check this out. This is the snow we got. This is the snow we got. It's not supposed to be like this. Okay, so that went well. Lots of snow. And like last night it was 22 degrees. So the cold front is about to end. It's supposed to warm up. It's be 15 degrees warmer tonight. So it's going to be a lot nicer. But that's a lot of snow for one day of snow. It just came down like crazy. So anyway, as you can see, now, if I was to make this something that I wanted to send to contribute to this library, I would right click, reveal in the Finder, go up to the library itself, go to the samples folder, go to the John Limcool samples. I would put my samples that I want to put into here and then rebuild the maps. But the maps is very easy. This tool is very easy to use. As you move over the samples, the key is this. If you have the pitch name at the end of the samples, it knows where to map it automatically. If you don't do that, you just drag it over and you say import, then it's going to put it across the keyboard, and then you can change the pitch right here. So I can set it to D4 by going like this. And now I have it routed to the pitch. Here's your tuning parameters. Some of this stuff, I don't think we pay attention to pan position. So don't use, some of these parameters are not transferred into our SFC file format. The other thing that's important I want to show you is that, let's say I took these flutes. There's one other program that Bjorn makes that's just wonderful called Endless Wave. It's for looping samples. I'll try not to hurt your ears too much with this, but you can take a sample like this. You hear this? Let me make sure you hear this. I think you hear this, right? Yeah. So if you hold down the shift key, you can click and drag, and then click right here to increase the crossfade. And then over here, the special crossfade or the equal power, and then finding the different sample points and so forth. You'll find a place where it's going to become a nice looking waveform. Minus the click in there that from the audio when I record it, but you can loop your samples. And the samples are seamless. It's wonderful. If you go to this command right here, which you can use a quick key for, just Command Shift End. Right, if I go Command Shift In, it says save the file. If I say yes, it will delete the sample data at the end of the sample end point, loop point, and it will load the next sample. So you can very quickly go like this and this and this. That's close enough for, since considering I didn't play these right. But you could go through and loop the samples very quickly. I had a tuning problem on this note, so that tuning problems will be hard to loop, but close enough for this presentation. And then the last one, let's loop this. Say next. Now, I've looped those, but my file map for Unify hasn't taken that into account. So what you can do is this. If you loop something after the fact, you could do, it's actually pretty simple. Go to Unify. Let's go to the collective, to the samples, to that SFC map that I made, right? For the long. And let's go back to sample mapper. We're going to reload this sample map. And it'll load it back up because I didn't move the samples. There's no error messages. If you go here to the load button, you can say update all files in this group and then hit save right here, save instrument. And that will load updated loop point information and let you save it. So now if I go back here and I go back to the loop long, it's now looped. Ah, it's not. Why are you not? You should be looped. Let's go back here and say collective. Okay. Oh, maybe it didn't do it to all groups. Maybe I have to do this per group. It did it to that. I see. So I have to go to each group. Go to group. Group 2, load, update. If you do round robins, group here, load, update. That's what it is. Load, update. So it's updating. Actually, I think there's a command here to say, oh, I should just click the button that says all groups, and then it would update all the groups automatically. Silly me. Okay, so save instrument. Now it's updated. So when I change to one patch and come back, it's looped. In all of its beautiful glory, now you can make pads. But it works. That's how you can get sounds looped and into Unify. It's pretty easy. It's there is an auditioning to where you can play the sample here to hear it to make sure it's there, but It doesn't seem to be a player to play the samples there. You need to actually shoot it over to Unify, call it up inside a Guru sampler, and then you can play with them. So I'll see if I can recover some data. I might replay these and re-record them. But I'll put a green flute along with my toy xylophones and stuff like that into the library. Let me see if you guys have any questions for what I'm showing. Is there an advantage to this method over using the built-in sound font player? Well, the advantage is that with this, it allows you to use all of the parameters of Guru Sampler. So now I could use the random sample start to get more variety. I could use the LFO for pitchy things. I could use the shift to shift the samples. There's tools that you have here that you don't have inside of the sound font player. The sound font player will let you load your sound font up that you've created, but it's kind of set the way it is because the sound font player doesn't have anything beyond just playing what you want to use here. So I could open the SFC file here as well, but then you don't have all the fun stuff inside of Guru Sampler. So yeah. 8 feet of snow. Art, holy cow. That's a lot. Okay, so that's the process. Hopefully you guys have some fun sample ideas in mind. We'll see what happens. Let's just see what happens in 30 days. So the plan is from now until the 25th of March, 30 days. And then it gives me about a week or so to put everybody's samples together and see what we come up with. And then I will send out an updated version of the library called the Phase 2 version, where everybody can then make patches. If you don't make samples and you just want to wait for the patches part, you're welcome to do that. That's totally fine. But I've made a handful of videos on getting samples into Unify, and I was like, you know, maybe let's take it a step farther and get everyone involved making samples. So there you go. We made it to the end of the live stream. I'm sorry for the technical difficulties. I don't know what's up with my computer. I was thinking I needed to update probably to the new OS. I'm on Monterey right now. I will probably update this to Ventura just because it's a new computer. So I think that they've, from my understanding, audio in Monterey is not as stable as it has been found to be in, well, we'll find out in Ventura. So fingers crossed. But I had to get through this live stream before I updated my computer. I didn't want to do something. Oh yeah, if someone needs effect plugins, I don't mind pointing that out. Wilfred, if he's got that problem, there's a video on my channel called Fixing Permissions. It sounds like he probably has a permissions issue. Any news about the March 1st thing? What's March 1st thing? I'm not sure about that. Oh, I should show that for a second. I'm working. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yes, so I'm working on a library that's going to be coming out hopefully next week called Rad Waves. And I came up with some kind of cool artwork for it. So this is, okay, we won't show it that way. This computer, man, it's cracking me up. Oh, wow, it's just crazy what's going on. I'm not used to this computer. It's been so good and stable for so long, and then not for so long because I haven't had it that long. But so Rad Waves is a library of samples for synthesizer samples that I've recorded. Some really cool stuff. There's some things from Virus not from my virus, sorry, but from Vital, from Razer, from my Waldorf Micro Q. There's also a handful of samples. The Rad Wave comes from some samples that I did many years ago, over like some around 30 years ago. Where, like, let's see here, Spirits Alive is one of the patches. We got an M1 when I was working in Los Angeles in Canoga Park. We got an M1 in that was broken. It had a bit resolution quantization error of some sort. The power supply was messed up on it, but it made the coolest sounds. So I literally spent, oh gosh, probably a week sampling it. So all these things that say rad are these samples from this M1. Really cool sounds. There's something slightly off and broken with the samples. Here's some sounds from Razer. From Vital. Another cool Vital. And then I've been making lots of patches. So if we go over here to Core, I'll show the full library next week. I'm still building some additional patches, but there's 40 different multi-sampled instruments that are that's some of these I've got to modify all these really cool bells. There's this keyboard sound that I really love, the Future Hype Rhodes. Stuff like that's really cool. So it's got all these really cool and then I have a whole bunch of really cool BPM things. I'm doing some fun. The Kisses from a Dragon is really cool for the all sorts of cool stuff with waves. There's stuff like that. So there's even some really cool BPM splitty things. All sorts of fun stuff. So this will be coming out hopefully next week is the plan. So it's really cool. There's a whole lot of really cool waveforms. It's going to be at an insane price. I'm going to be doing some more of these muted. Isn't that cool? I'm doing some fun stuff with CC Writer, changing parameters and Guru samplers. So there'll be a whole bunch more patches, but there's going to be somewhere around 80 patches at least. We're at 73 now. So, yeah. So I'll be bringing that out. Really, really excited with it. It's got some really cool stuff in it. That's the electric piano. Got the power orchestra. So yeah, what do you think about Christian leaving Spitfire Audio? I'm not getting into that. That's their thing. He's a film composer as well. I think he's still partners. It's his company. He started with someone else. I don't think he's... I don't know. I have no comment. I just wish him the best with whatever he does, because he's a good guy. I made this while it was snowing. But I'm kind of aiming at kind of like a combination of new samples, new instruments, and kind of like a rhythmic. But I'm making a whole bunch of other stuff for it. I mean, I'm having a good time. There's all sorts of cool stuff. So that should be out. We'll be talking about this next week is the plan. I'm going broke. Yeah. So, yeah. I wish the Polybox had MIDI out so I could use it on my hardware synths. Yeah, we're looking at stuff like that. Shane is busy with some other things in his workspace. So we hope to come back and look at things like that in the future. But there's nothing to announce. I love where we are with Unify. It has most of the tools I need to make libraries so I can keep... You would not believe the library list that we have for the year. It's crazy. Spring is coming. What is that? Yeah, well, that's the whole different meaning behind spring is coming. But winter is coming was the whole thing for Game of Thrones. Anyway, there's really cool stuff for this library. I love pure synergy for just in your face. For all the big walls of sound that you need for things. So, yeah, kind of a modern, more rad. I mean, rad's not a very current term, but I'm not. I'm an old guy, so I'll do my best to be rad. How's that? Okay, so. Cool. Well, thank you all for joining for the live stream. Again, I'm sorry for the technical glitches with the audio. It's funny. It seems to have settled down, and it's when I'm bouncing around and having live streams and running Zoom. Is Zoom still running? No, Zoom isn't running. I quit Zoom. That's when I got into trouble. So, old is cool. Oh, man. I appreciate all you guys so much. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed this. We'll keep going, but I hope you guys can contribute some fun samples. I'd like to see all sorts of crazy stuff show up inside. Now, be aware of one thing. With the Guru Sampler, we don't have a technology for streaming from hard drives. So please don't make, 5 gigabyte libraries, instruments, because it has to load all of that into memory to play. Unify is not doing streaming from HD at this point. So be a little on the smart side with how you do your samples. Don't just record something for 5 minutes and try to include that as 50 samples that are 5 minutes long each. We're not going to be able to accept that. It won't work. So there's a filtration system, to go through to make sure that everything works and it kind of like doesn't cause too much of a system burden for people on their computers. So be a little aware of that when you're building up your instruments that you do. Really advanced design. Jesse, ooh, dude. Oh yeah, FM is great, and FM is monster. I was able to beta test that a little bit with the guys, and love it. Yeah, all right. I think we'll stop right there. It's a rabbit hole. If you get me talking about plugins and stuff like that, we could be here for the next 5 hours. But I can't do that. So we will say thank you for joining. Let's do our shout outs. We got to do our shout outs. Shout out from Portland, Oregon here. Out from way too snowy. Shout out from oh, in Germany it's freezing. Oh wow. Colorado, hey, good to see you, Dave. Marcel in Holland. I'm looking to see if I can make it to Super Booth this year. I don't know if I can make it. It might be next year for sure. I'm going to try to go. This year I'm not sure. We'll see what happens. From Tennessee, good to see you, Todd. Barry in the Netherlands. We've got people in France and Cologne and Cambridge, Georgia. Tim has a killer library in the works that we'll be bringing out here pretty soon, guys. Tim, I will reply to your email. I apologize for the latency. Sacramento, good to see you, Vendor. Yeah, good to see you all. I hope this helped. Thank you. I'm glad you guys are enjoying Unify. I love Unify too, very much. All right, we will see you in another stream soon. Cheers, everybody.